What is going on, my Houston Texans family? Hope you all are having a blessed Tuesday. The 2025 season came to an end on Sunday with the Seattle Seahawks manhandling the New England Patriots. Drake May looked horrible, really had a rough playoffs, but nonetheless, we are on to 2026. And I have to tell you, I am excited for what we are going to do today because I am going to be general manager for the 2026 offseason, ladies and gentlemen. And how I am going to do that is use this simulation by stick to the model. It is really fantastic. This is going to be a very long episode, might be my longest ever. But before we get into it, we got to pay the bills. You ever heard of the Sleeper app? Here's a little secret, it's more than just a platform for season long fantasy football. This year, millions of users enjoyed fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real time updates, and visualization on all the stats. They have like a little bar meter that tells you. Newsfeed, get lightning fast updates on your favorite players and teams, the trades that happened during the NBA season, the firings and hirings during the NFL season for coaches, real time chat, engage with other users about individual play and performances during the NFL and NBA season. Download the number one sports app today and experience it for yourself. Use promo code 713HOU and you get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleepers terms user for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And guys, Sleeper is doing something fantastic, man. They're giving you a free $20 entry for new users. Just download 713HOU. Now let's get into the simulation, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited for this. Very excited. Shout out to Stick to the Model. I believe you will have to create a account. They give you a couple free uses until you have to log in. But here we are. You see, the Houston Texans are currently negative $1 million in terms of free agency money and what they could work around with. Now, there's going to be a lot of area to operate for the Houston Texans. Now, we're going to be able to cut players, sign players, extend players for this episode. So bear with me. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of internal thinking. But right now, our job is cap management. Review your roster, cut, restructure, extend, or franchise tag players. Let's first start with the quarterbacks. Does anything happen to CJ Stroud this offseason money wise? No. I think the Houston Texans are going to pick up his fifth year option. However, when it comes to a contract, I don't think CJ Stroud is near those conversations right now. So we're going to leave CJ Stroud alone. We're also going to leave Davis Mills alone. He is your backup quarterback. Shout out to Mills Million, the job he did this year, winning 3 games for you while CJ Stroud was out. Graham Mertz entering year 2. Now, by releasing Graham Mertz, you are going to save $1.1 million. I'm going to go ahead and release Graham Mertz. Thank you for everything you did for me in year 1 because I am going to be bringing in another quarterback this offseason. We'll get to that in a second, but I want to bring in Case Keenum. I want to bring in someone to help mentor CJ Stroud. Case Keenum has done it before. He's recently done it with Caleb Williams. I think Case Keenum is a priority this offseason. Now, with releasing Graham Mertz, the Houston Texans are at negative $0.6 million. Now, let's move on. The running back room. We've talked about this all year. We're releasing Joe Mixon and saving the Houston Texans $8.5 million. Now, the Texans do get $2 million of dead money. Let's go ahead and release that. Now the Houston Texans are in the positive, $7.9 million. And all we did was release Graham Mertz and cut Joe Mixon. Nothing's happening to Woody Marks. British Brooks and Gerard Jordan is interesting. I do believe the Houston Texans are going to invest into the running back room, not only in free agency, but in the draft. I'm not going to release anyone here. I'm going to have them go into OTAs and training camp and let's see what happens. But moving on to the wide receiver room, Mr. Nico Collins, we're going to ask for a contract restructure. Nick Casario always loves those 40 years. So by doing the contract restructure, ladies and gentlemen, the Texans save themselves $15 million right off the bat. Let's go. Nothing's happening with Jaden Higgins. He's going to be entering year 2. Justin Watson, by releasing him, you are going to be saving $2.8 million. Let's go ahead and do that. Justin Watson really didn't do anything for you at all this season. Tank Dale's not going anywhere. Xavier Hutchinson's not going anywhere. Jared Wayne got re-signed. Josh Kelly, I'm not going to release someone for $0.9 million. I'm not that greedy. But now the Houston Texans are at $24.7 million, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to the tight end room. Dalton Schultz. It seems like Dalton Schultz is going to get a contract restructure with the Houston Texans. So we're going to click right here, right in the middle. Oh, I'm sorry. Not only a contract restructure, but an extension. So we're going to click the plus sign. The question is, though, are we adding on 1 year or are we adding on 2? I think let's just add on 1. I like contract year Dalton Schultz. We're going to extend and restructure. Hey, the Houston Texans, $31 million to mess around with come free agency. Brevin Jordan's not going anywhere. Kate Stover's not going anywhere. Lane Pryor and Luke Lacey, releasing either of those two guys would save you $0.9 million. I am going to be getting a tight end in the draft. I don't know where. So I'm not going to do anything right now with the tight end room. Offensive line, Mr. Titus Howard. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a contract restructure because you've done it before. You're a captain. You're one of the best pieces on our offensive line. Houston Texans with the contract restructure, $43.3 million. There is a lot of flexibility, ladies and gentlemen, with the cap. Ariante Ursary, $2.1 million. He's not going anywhere. It gets interesting when you talk about Blake Fisher, Juice Scruggs, Jake Andrews, Jared Patterson, Sidney Sow, and Eli Cox. Sidney Sow, you save $1.1 million by cutting him. Do it. Goodbye. That might be the only move I make on the offensive line. I think training camp is going to be huge for these 3 guys. Juice Scruggs, Jake Andrews, Jared Patterson. I want to bring in a center this offseason. I want to bring in a guard in the draft. I understand that I have to have bodies entering training camp also, so I don't want to make too many drastic moves. But I think the Houston Texans, I think their offensive line has an opportunity to get better. It's just going to take some work. Now, right now, you have 2 starters solidified. Titus Howard, Ariante Ursary. If you want to throw in Jake Andrews, go ahead. But I think you can upgrade from Jake Andrews. For sure, it's Ariante Ursary and Titus Howard. The work's going to have to be done, and we'll talk about it in a second at the free agency part. Trent Brown, Ed Ingram. Do you bring those guys back? That is a conversation to be had. But by restructuring Titus Howard and getting rid of Sidney Sow, the Houston Texans, $44.3 million. Moving on to the defense, the edge group. How can the Houston Texans get more cap? Well, by giving Danielle Hunter a 1-year contract extension plus restructure, which will save the Houston Texans about $16.5 million. Danielle Hunter, I've been saying this since he's been here. Just keep on giving him 1-year deals as much as he wants. He's worth it. He's one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. And he's what's weird about not weird, but what's crazy about Daniil Hunter is you feel like his game's gonna age, right? He's someone who wins off of just, just being a freak of nature. And I don't think that's gonna go away anytime soon. I think Daniil Hunter is going to be here for quite a bit. I don't know if he wants an extension, but if this is a way to keep him here for a foreseeable future, why not? And you save yourself some money in the process by doing the extension. Another extension that's going to happen is Will Anderson Jr. I think there's no surprise to this. We're going to give him 4 years. We're going to give him 39.3 million a year. We're going to make him one of the highest paid edge rushers in the NFL. Will Anderson Jr. will be for the Houston Texans long term. Hold on, there you go. Extend and restructure, ladies and gentlemen. Will Anderson Jr. gets a huge deal this offseason. Speaking of Will Anderson Jr., he went to believe a prison and did a service, and a lot of people gave their lives over to God. So shout out to Will Anderson Jr. He stayed in his faith. CJ Shaw stayed in his faith. Faith is becoming a big thing in the league again, which is pretty cool. But there's no doubt in my mind that Will Anderson Jr. deserves this contract extension. There's no doubt in my mind that Will Anderson Jr. is going to win himself a Defensive Player of the Year trophy. Back-to-back double-digit sack seasons. And this year in the playoffs, Will Anderson Jr. was just on another level. He's only going to get better. I wonder what Will Anderson Jr. is going to be when he is in the prime of his career. And to be honest with you, that's kind of scary for opposing offensive linemen. I heard Dalton Schultz today. He was at the Super Bowl Radio Row, and he was talking, and when he said about Will Anderson Jr. that everything D'Amico preaches, Will Anderson Jr. is the embodiment of that. And you believe it. You see it. I think Will Anderson Jr. is going to transcend into a superstar type of player. I think he's going to have a name that is known throughout the league. I think the story of Will Anderson Jr. is just getting started, and you have to reward him with the contract extension. You have to make him one of the highest paid edge rushers in the NFL. Now the Houston Texans have two of the highest paid edge rushers in the NFL. Are you mad at that? No. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. Defensive lineman group. Is there any work that is going to be needed? You know what? I think there's going to be. I think there's two guys here that are going to be released. Mario Edwards Jr., season-ending injury. You say $5.5 million by releasing him. I'm taking that. Another guy is someone who we haven't even seen, and to be quite honest with you, has been here for too long, and that is Kurt Hinish. Goodbye. So by cutting those two players, the Houston Texans find themselves at $55 million to work around with the cap. In the linebacker room, I don't know if this is being talked about, but giving Azeez Al-Shaair a 2-year extension is, I think, a goal for the Houston Texans. And I'm going to do that, which now raises my money to $61.4 million. When it comes to Azeez Al-Shaair, he is another embodiment of DeMeco Ryans, in my opinion. You can argue that Azeez Al-Shaair is the heart and soul of this Texans defense. He just got to his first Pro Bowl. He got better. Like last year, he was great in the run game, but in pass coverage was a liability. What does he do this year? He gets better, gets himself a couple of interceptions in training camp. If you guys watch the channel, you remember me saying Aziz Al-Shaair was picking off CJ Stroud. Can Aziz get better? He's 28 years old. Damn, we're the same age. Oh my gosh. I think right now Aziz is in the prime of his career. I think right now Aziz can still get better with D'Amico Ryans. I think Aziz Ayer should be a priority this offseason. Extended him long term. He has been a fan favorite ever since he got here. He is not a dirty player, but then he does things like go in the Pro Bowl and, punches a ball out, but tackles the guy. We're like, yep, if anyone was going to do that, it was going to be Aziz Al-Shaair. But listen, man, Agent Zero needs to be here long term. And you got to think, man, add in 2 years, and as soon as he hits 30, he's up for another contract. We see where we are there. I like Aziz. I want him here. Am I doing any of the work in the linebacker room? No. Jake Hansen, I could save $2.2 million by cutting him. I'm not going to do that. Jamal Hill, 1.1, not going to do that. Henry 2.2 or 3.7, not going to do that. So remember, guys, we also don't want to just cut people just will and nil. We have to make sure we get to as close to 53 as we can. Is there going to be any move in the cornerback room that I can make? I do want to make one move, and that's Tremon Smith. Goodbye. You save $3.5 million in the process, getting yourself to $63.2 million in cap room. Could I get any more? Elijah Huzzy, $1 million, Elijah Carter, $1 million. But that's, I think, all the work I'm going to be doing in the cornerback room. And the safety market, in the safety department, there is one move that I am making. That's going to save the Houston Texans $3.3 million. And that's releasing Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward did not play for you at all this season. We know what happened to him, legally. I'm not going to get into it. I think Jimmy Ward is, doesn't have a I think it's over with Jimmy Ward. And in the process, the Houston Texans saved themselves $3.3 million. And ladies and gentlemen, when you do all that work, I cut 9 players. I extended 4. I restructured 2. So, not too bad in terms of addition and subtracting. But with all my work in cap, I went to $64.4 million. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't concrete. The numbers could be wrong, but this is fun. Like, I found myself doing this like all day yesterday. But with all the moves I made, and once again, the moves that I made, I released Joe Mixon for $10.5 million. I released Mario Edwards Jr. for $5.5 million. I released Tremon Smith for $3.5 million, Justin Watson for $2.8, Kurt Hinish at $1.4, and Graham Mertz at $1.1. Those were my cuts. My 2 restructures, let me see, was Nico Collins and Titus Howard. My 4 extensions were Dalton Schultz, Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., and Aziz Al-Shaair. Now we have to move into free agency, ladies and gentlemen. The job is not done. We have some trade offers. Nick Caserio likes to get him a late 7th-round pick for something. Philly offers Moro or Jomo, and the Houston Texans send them pick 69. I don't know. I want to address the defensive lineman in the draft. Jackson is offering you Parker Washington, but they are taking pick 59 and pick 106. I think the Jags do their best to keep Parker Washington. Tennessee offers Tony Pollard. I don't want Tony Pollard. New England offers Ramondre Stevenson. I don't want Ramondre Stevenson. The Giants offer Tyrone Tracy Jr. I don't want him. Las Vegas offers Trey Tucker. No. Dallas offers Kenny Clark. I'm not spending a lot of money on a defensive tackle. New Orleans offers Alvin Kamara. Now, this might intrigue me, but you look at that cap hit, $18.6 million. I'm good on the trades. Free agency. Here's who the Houston Texans have as free agents. Do we want to bring back Derek Barnett? The answer to that question, if you're asking me, is yes. Now, last year, Derek Barnett signed a contract with the Houston Texans at 1 year, let me see, $5 million. Now, this here says he's going to get 10, 13. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he is going to get around, a $1 million pay bump as a rotational pass rusher. I'm going to offer him $6 million. Now, this says his offer rejected. We're going to go ahead and force that. Shout out to Derek Barnett. Welcome back to the Houston Texans. Christian Kirk gone. Danico Autry gone. EJ Speed. Let me see. Nah, we're gonna go to gone. Sheldon Rankins for sure. I want Sheldon Rankins back. Now his contract. Let me see. What did he sign with Houston? Sheldon Rankins signed a 1 year deal with Houston up to $7 million. We're gonna give him a little bit of a pay raise. We're gonna give him 7 point. No, let's give him 7.5. Welcome back, Sheldon Rankins. You shouldn't have left, but he did get the bag from Cincinnati. Let's just make it. Let's make it 8. 1 year. We're gonna force that. Harrison Bryant gone. Miles Bryant gone. Tommy Townsend, re-sign him. You need a punter. Okay. Trent Brown, Naquan Jones, Ed Ingram. It gets interesting with these three. Trent Brown, I think, is going to return to the Houston Texans. I think he played fantastic for you. I think that he has a connection with general manager Nick Caserio. Last year, he signed a 1 year, $3 million contract for you. Let's give him a little bit of a pay raise. Let's give him 5. Welcome back, Trent Brown. Now, the last one that I want to talk about is Ed Ingram here. Do we bring back Ed Ingram? If so, is it a 2-year deal, 3-year deal? I think the conversation about Ed Ingram is interesting because this was his breakout year. He was the Minnesota Vikings Kenyon Green. Comes to Houston, Cole Popovich gets his hands on him, and for majority of the season, Ed Ingram is giving you good guard play. Not really good, not great, just good. I wonder what his market's going to be. I definitely think it's going to be more than $2.5 million. I could see, somewhere to like 7, 8. But we're going to go ahead and make the contract offer. Of course, he's going to accept it. And after that, I'm done. So goodbye to Dare Gumbawale. Goodbye to Nick Chubb. Goodbye to Braxton Berrios, MJ Stewart, Folo Fadukasi, Christian Harris, Tim Settle, Brandon Hill, Jarrett Kingston, Damon Clark, Jamarcus Ingram, Naquan Jones, Miles Bryant, Harrison Bryant, EJ Speed, Danico Autry, and Christian Kirk. Now for free agency, who do I want to bring in? Cade Mays. I think it's going to cost you around $13 million for Cade Mays. I think it could be $15 million a year, if I'm being honest with you guys. The Houston Texans haven't had a center since Chris Myers. How important is the center position to you guys? Because to me, it's very important. If I want to fix this offensive line, I gotta start with right. It's leader, quote unquote. You have just had a rotational door. It doesn't surprise me that it's taking you this long to put together a decent offensive line. So I think center is going to be very important. And Cade May has played good at center. Cade May, I'm sorry, 6'6", 325 pounds, a behemoth of a man. He fits the profile of what the Houston Texans are looking for in alignment, and that is huge. Being able to move people, good in pass protection, good in run protection, and Cade Mays is good. I think it's crazy that the Houston Texans are already showing that they are interested in him. So I wonder if there's like a, a mutual connection. I am excited with the possibility of building this offensive line. I mean, and I'm going to keep on being excited because it needs to be fixed. Not that it has any holes, but it needs to enter in areas where we see more 100-yard games from, our running backs. We see insane amounts of time in the pocket for CJ Stroud. Really, you want this offensive line to take a step forward for CJ Stroud, right? If you want his internal clock to slow back down and get to where it was in year one, where CJ Stroud was getting an MVP chance in Houston, you need someone like a Cade Mays. Another free agent signing I'm going to do is Brees Hall. We have talked about Brees Hall for the last few years. He's 25 years old. He's coming off of a 1,000-yard season with the New York Jets. I think it's going to cost you between 12 and 13 million a year for Brees Hall. But I think you make that offer. I know the Houston Texans tried to draft him a few years ago. I know the Houston Texans tried to trade for him come trade market, come trade deadline. Offer wasn't made. However, this might be your last opportunity to get Brees Hall. I mean, he tweeted out there, I want to play in the Super Bowl. Immediately, a lot of Houston Texan fans were under his tweet, come to Houston, come to Houston. I hope that's his destination. Just think about what a efficient run game would do for this Houston Texans team currently. We sorely miss Joe Mixon. We did. You can argue that if Joe Mixon had a healthy season, the Texans might have had 1 to 2 more wins. Playoffs might have ran through Houston. Then who knows what would have happened? We saw Joe Mixon in year one make chicken salad out of chicken shit. First game, 150 against the Colts. 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns, Pro Bowl year. We missed Joe Mixon. Adding in Brees Hall, who is younger, who I think has a lot of juice left, a lot of tread left on the tires, also a threat in the passing game. I think Brees Hall would flourish here in Houston. I like Kenneth Walker, but I think he is going to get the bag. Brees Hall is someone who I think could also get the bag. So if it's not Brees Hall, a Javonte Williams, or Rico Dowdle, but I think Brees Hall was the number one target for this Houston Texans team. You need him to help this offense next year and the next 2 years because we're giving him a 3-year deal. Give Brees Hall number 23 and let's ride. Nah, not going that far. No one can touch Arian Foster. But Brees Hall is that type of player. Can make you miss. Can take a 5-yard pass and take it to the house. Good in pass protection. Strong, reliable hands. We know, like we know what talent is. And when we saw Joe Mixon, we were like, man, we haven't had this since Arian Foster. Bringing in someone like Brees Hall, we're going to say we haven't had this since Joe Mixon and Arian Foster. The run will open up the pass. And if the Houston Texans are going to be able to run the football effectively with Brees Hall, with Woody Marks, Jawar Jordan, this offense could, potentially have a new identity, could potentially be better. You have to be able to run the football. And that was something that the Houston Texans weren't able to do this year. You only had a 100-yard game all season, and it was from Jawar Jordan, someone who you cut and brought back. You got to think what bringing in Brees Hall does for Woody Marks. You know Woody Marks wants to be the starter. You know how upset he gets when he doesn't, um, you know, when he is not on the field. Just think about the internal competition between those two. It just excites me having a 1-2 punch at running back. David Montgomery is also someone who would intrigue me. But a running back has to be addressed in the offseason. Center has to be addressed in the offseason. Let's go ahead and go to the draft. I'm gonna go ahead and give you 7 rounds, guys, because I love y'all, and this might be my last trial. Now, with all the work in cap, the Houston Texans are left with $14.4 million. I think I did an okay job. We'll see. Let's start with the draft. All right, here we go. Start. Shout out to Stick to the Module. We're working on the cap. We're signing free agents. We're doing a 7th round mock draft. Oh my gosh. Okay. At pick 28 for the Houston Texans. You see the needs right here. We have some trades. Detroit's offering us number 50. No. Indy, number 47. No. KC giving us number 40 for 28. No. Miami wants 28, but they're giving us 43. No. I'm not trading, man. I'm not trading. I'm not trading. I'm not trading. Who am I going to take in the first round at pick 28? I'm not going to lie, guys. This guy has been my draft crush. That is Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. Now, you could say Caleb Banks, go get Caleb. The injury history is what scares me about Caleb Banks. With Lee Hunter, looks the part of an NFL nose tackle with a thick 6'4", 325 frame that demands double team in the run game. The mobile Alabama native arrived at Auburn as a consensus 4-star recruit in 2021, ranked among the top defensive tackle prospects nationally. After redshirting under Gus Malzahn, Hunter followed his coach to UCF, where he transformed from a rotational piece into one of the Big 12's most productive interior defenders. His sophomore campaign in 2023 showcased his emergence as a legitimate force with 69 tackles to lead all FBS defensive tackles, according to PFF, while adding 11 TFLs and 3 sacks. Now at Texas Tech, Hunter accumulated 31 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks during the 2025 regular season. At a position where production is modest, it's refreshing to see Hunter relentlessly work sideline to sideline from the interior, racking up tackles while also working in the backfield. He's very aware with eyes in the backfield, possessing fast reaction time and coordination to escape blocks quickly. However, his subpar athleticism, even for a nose tackle being laid off the ball and playing too high, prevents him from consistently collapsing the pocket. His weaknesses: subpar athleticism and quickness for the position, laid off the ball with habit of playing too high, lack of agility creates long, inefficient paths, susceptible to getting reached or scooped, appears to have shorter arms, limited extension. That's not good. Struggles to sink hips and bend in the backfield, get too far upfield at times, lapses in gap integrity, creating cutback lanes, and doesn't bend at knees, tends to lean. His strengths: prototypical nose tackle at 6'4", 320 pounds, demands double teams to move and run game, leads all FBF DTs with 69 tackles in 2023, very aware with eyes in the backfield, fast reaction time, escape and box quickly, works sideline and sideline relentlessly, getting into the backfield, finishing TFLs, 11 tackles for L's, 3 sacks, breakout in 2023, coordination and awareness from the interior, four-star recruit with pedigree. We are drafting Lee Hunter and telling him, man, just work at the defensive tackle spot. Just work. Pick 38 for the Houston Texans. I already see him right here. Emmanuel Pregnon, offensive guard from Oregon. He is the most pro-ready interior offensive lineman in the 2026 draft class. The 6'5", 318-pound redshirt senior has been lights out all season for the Ducks after transferring from USC, allowing only 2 pressures after yielding 18 a year ago. Pregnon's journey includes Wyoming, USC, and now Oregon, and he hasn't allowed a sack since transferring to the Power 4 level the Power 4 level in 2023, a remarkable testament to his technical consistency. He's a technician in pass protection with tremendous effort and body control, combining quick feet to mirror rushers with a wide base that makes him extremely difficult to bull rush. In the run game, Pregnon is a reliable, stout presence who can cover up, lift, and uproot targets on base, double, and combination blocks. His enforcing mentality shows in his affinity for contact, straining through the whistle in every play. While he's played exclusively at left guard since 2022, his NFL ready frame with full body strength, long arms, and thick chest profile him as a day one starter. His cons: played exclusively at left guard since 2002 with limited versatility, tends to lunge into block with questionable technique, some hip stiffness, limits looseness and movement, extends chest over knees in pass protection, foot speed fades quickly throughout plays, loses balance at times and seeks back into stance too readily, can struggle anchoring against bigger vortex and nose tackles, allows longer defenders to get under his stance with hand fighting. Older prospect who may not have a ceiling of other top offensive linemen. Yeah, Emmanuel Pregnon is pretty old. But his strengths hasn't allowed a stand since 2022 at power 4 level. Elite pass protection with consistent technique and effort. Quick feet to mirror in pass protection and get out as a puller. Thick frame and wide brace makes him difficult to bull rush. Naturally matches power with power to cancel bull rushers. Reliable and stout run blocker on base and combo blocks. Can cover up, lift, and uproot targets at point of attack. Enforcing mentality with contact affirmity and finishing through the whistle. Pocket clearing power when uncovered. NFL ready frame, full body strength, and long arms. That's who I am taking with my second pick. And I have my starting offensive line: Ariante Ursary at left tackle, Emmanuel Pregnon at left guard, Cade Mays at center, Ed Ingram at right guard, Titus Howard at right tackle, and my swing tackle, ladies and gentlemen, is Trent Brown. I am loving my offensive line. The Houston Texans are at pick 59. Let's see what they do here. They already have Brees Hall and Woody Marks. Could they add a running back? They could. Do they want to add an offensive tackle? I think they're set at tackle. Do we need a linebacker? We do need a linebacker. Let me see. But Josiah Trotter, linebacker. Oh, no, I know who I want at linebacker. Okay. I would have taken Zion Young if he was right there. Could I trade back? So I could move back 3 spots, get 62 and a future from Denver. Let me go ahead and trade back with Denver. Let me go ahead and trade back. Let me add some more. Let me add some more picks. You see, I go down not too much. Now, let's get into some fun because I'm going to reach on this one. I'm going to get a tight end here. I'm going with Eli Stover's tight end out of Vanderbilt. And if you guys don't know who he is, go check out his highlights. The road to elite tight end prospect isn't typically paved with quarterback cleats, but Eli Stowers has blazed an unconventional path to the NFL draft. A former four-star quarterback recruit at Texas 6A high jump state champion with remarkable 7-foot clearance from Denton Guyer High School. Stowers initially landed at Texas A&M, where he spent 2 seasons as a reserve single caller. His journey took a pivotal turn when he transferred to New Mexico State and transitioned to tight end, immediately showcasing natural receiving ability with 35 receptions for 366 yards and 2 touchdowns while earning honorable mention All Conference USA honors. After following offensive coordinator Tim Beck to Vanderbilt for his graduate season, the former quarterback detonated in the SEC, establishing himself as Diego Pavilla's lifeline in the passing attack. His breakout 2024 campaign featured several jaw-dropping performances, including a 6-catch, 113-yard masterclass in Vandy's historical upset over top-ranked Alabama. The Biletnikoff Award watch lister finished with 49 receptions, 638 yards, 5 touchdowns, earning first team All SEC honors and a semifinalist recognition for the Mackey Award. His rapid development curve and immediate production against elite competition showed a natural feel for a position he'd only recently adopted. Despite flashing tantalizing receiving traits, Stowers opted to return for the 2025 season to refine his craft, including adding 20 pounds of muscle while honing blocking techniques previously foreign to the former quarterback. So this is a tight end that's a work in progress, but the tight end that gives you crazy upside in the receiving game. Severely undersized frame for wait, let me see if the other guy's here. All right. Michael Trigg, 240 pounds out of Baylor, or Eli Stowers, 235 pounds out of Vanderbilt. So here's another guy. Michael Trigg has blossomed into one of the most productive tight end prospects in the 2026 class during his 5th collegiate season at Baylor, setting a program season game record for tight ends with a 155-yard performance against Kansas State. Listed at 6'4", 240 pounds, Trigg is a lean tight end who spends most of his time in the slot creating mismatches at the short to intermediate levels rather than serving as a traditional inline blocker. After earning second team All Big 12 honors in 2024 with 30 catches for 395 yards and 3 touchdowns, Triggs has already surpassed those career highs with just 6 weeks in 2025, accumulating 439 yards on 29 receptions for 4 touchdowns. His 96-yard performance against Houston and 155-yard performance against Kansas State showcased the game-breaking ability that has scouts circling back to watch him. Trigg's arrival as a legitimate NFL prospect represents a classic developmental success story, transferring from limited contributor in his early years to dominant receiving weapons as a fifth-year senior. His combination of size and route running ability and yard after the catch prowess makes him an intriguing day 3 pick for teams seeking move tight ends who can create mismatches in the passing game. They have him being a third-round pick. This is going to be an interesting one, but I'm going to go with Eli Stowers, the tight end out of Vanderbilt. The quarterback still learning the position. I don't know. I don't know. Do I want a guy who's still learning the position or a guy that has known the position? Let me go with Eli Stowers. Let me go with him out of Vanderbilt because I know who I want in the third round, and I don't have to wait too long because here I am. Here's who I want. Don't laugh at me. Let me see my picks. I'm going to take Jacob Rodriguez. I know linebacker isn't a need for Houston right now, but I think Jacob Rodriguez could be something fantastic for you going forward and has been a draft crush for many people. Jacob Rodriguez kept one of the most decorated individual seasons in college football history, becoming the consensus best linebacker in the nation and sweeping every major defensive award. The Texas Tech standout won the Butkus Award, nation's best linebacker, the Benaric Award, nation's best defensive player, the Bronco Nagurski Trophy, and Lombardi Award while receiving the most Heisman votes among defensive players. Rodriguez's journey to becoming a household name is unconventional. A three-star recruit as an athlete in 2021, he began his career at Virginia playing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end before transferring to Texas Tech and covering the linebacker, a move that unlocked one of the sport's most instinctive playmakers. His former quarterback experience translates directly to his exceptional processing speed and understanding of offensive concepts. In 2025, Rodriguez was a turnover machine, 117 tackles, 11 TFLs, a sack, 4 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, and a nation leading 7 forced fumbles. His maniacal punch out technique and ball hawking instincts make him a disruptive force. Rodriguez's career totals are staggering: 306 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 6 interceptions, 12 pass breakups, 5 fumble recoveries, 13 forced fumbles across 55 games. At 6'1", 335 pounds, Rodriguez is undersized by NFL prototypical standards, and his short arms create problems wrapping up bigger ball carriers. He lacks power in his hits and can struggle to disengage from blockers. His stiff hips may limit matchups against athletic tight ends. However, his elite instincts, sideline to sideline range, and coverage ability profile him as a quality starter in zone heavy schemes. His weaknesses: undersized at 6'1" with short arms, struggles to wrap up bigger ball carriers. I feel like the strengths and weaknesses are in the scouting report. Um, but Jacob Rodriguez, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna draft him, and I'm gonna have this be D'Amico Ryan's linebacker. D'Amico Ryans hasn't got his linebacker that he can mold his way. And when you talk about swarm, man, that's Jacob Rodriguez, guys. I think Jacob Rodriguez could sit 1 year under Aziz and Harry Tinrutuo because it is contract year for Henry upcoming. Maybe you have a future with Jacob Rodriguez starting next to Aziz Al-Shaair, and you see there his turnover making ability. How does that not excite you? Here we have pick 106, and I'm gonna make this pick because Keelan Rutledge I have become a big fan of Keelan Rutledge. What he did at the Senior Bowl, just the way he talks, that nastiness, you want that on the offensive line. Was being told to calm down because he was going too far at the Senior Bowl. I love hearing that. Rutledge is a long, broad frame mauler who has developed into one of the most decorated interior offensive linemen in recent Georgia Tech history. The Cleveland, Tennessee native arrived at Middle Tennessee State as a 3-star recruit with remarkable athletic credentials. He was a state champion shot putter and a 1,000 point, 1,000 rebound basketball player whose physical tools translated immediately to the trenches. After earning Conference USA All Freshman honors in 2022 and first team All Conference USA recognition in 2023, Rutledge transferred to Georgia Tech before the 2024 season. His transition nearly didn't happen on the field at a all severe foot injury, sustaining a car accident on December 7th, 2023. 2023 forced him to miss virtually the entire offseason. Yeah, he almost lost his leg in a car accident, including all of spring practice. Despite the setback, Rulage became first team All ACC selection in 2024 after starting 13 games at right guard. In 2025, he took another leap, becoming Georgia Tech's first back to back first team All American since Calvin Johnson, while earning honors from Sporting News and Sports Info Solutions. The 6'4", 300-pound, 330-pound junior allowed 0 sacks across 801 regular season snaps, according to Pro Football Focus, while ranking amongst the nation's top 10 guards in overall run blocking, pass blocking. Routledge possesses prototypical size with a hard-nosed style of play. He plays through the whistle and consistently tries to sit defenders down. His anchor strength and heavy hand already play at an NFL caliber, and his willingness to finish blocks with violence suggests he won't need much coaxing to embrace professional trenches. However, his pad level is inconsistent and leverage can be an issue against stronger players. NFL coaches will need to drill pad level discipline and refine his pass set mechanics against speed rushers. I'm taking this in the later rounds, and Keelan Rulage is going to be my project. He's also kind of my insurance plan if I don't have a solution at right guard. Now the Houston Texans are back on the clock. Let's see what they can do. Would love to add, a running back, but you add Brees Hall, you have Woody Marks, Jawar Jordan. Maybe you're set there. As we are entering the later rounds, pick 121, what do the Houston Texans need? Let's see who we have gotten so far. Man, we've selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players already. Defensive tackle Lee Hunter, offensive guard Emmanuel Pregnon, tight end Eli Stowers, Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker, and Keelan Rulage, offensive guard. And the Houston Texans have 1, 2, 4 picks left. Could a safety help? Elite single high safety who consistently finds the football. His name is Zach Wheatley and makes plays from center field better than any safety in his class. Former 3-star recruit from Archbishop Spalding High School, who emerged as a standout after taking over the starting role in 2024, posted career best 83.8 PFF coverage grades while cutting his missed tackles rate nearly in half from 17 to 9. Shows excellent size and natural athletic ability from the range and speed to play free safety at the next level. Physical hitter with enough strength to drop into the box when needed. Known for elite ball skills and positional versatility with ability to close in space, demonstrated major progress correcting his over pursuit issues from the previous season, has real range to make plays and flows around the back end of the defense effectively. Zach Wheatley, hey, I wasn't familiar with your game, but I think safety might be an area of need for the Texans, right? We're getting rid of Jimmy Ward, and the Texans just had multiple injuries at the safety position, including, one of the Jalen's from Penn State. So I wouldn't mind adding a safety late in the draft, just continuing to add on to this already fantastic defense. And when you hear things like ball hawking, when you hear things like turnover, and that just gets you even more excited. But here we are. I like this draft so far. This episode is 54 minutes long. I told you guys this was going to be a long one. Now in the later rounds here, we're just kind of BSing here. Let's add a wide receiver because they do say we need one. Bryce Lance is a dynamic wide receiver with good speed and route running ability. His combination of quickness, hands, and football IQ make him effective in various offensive concepts. Lance demonstrates solid route running techniques and the ability to create separation. He shows reliable hands and good body control to make catches in traffic. His versatility allows him to contribute in many receiver ways. We're also looking for special team demons here. Um, what about a running back? Seth McGovern, no draft profile on him. That kind of happens as we get to the later rounds. Let me see. What about this wide receiver? Deshaun Stribling. Okay, nothing. Let's just go ahead and go with Bryce Lance. Depth in the wide receiver room and someone that could contribute on special teams. All right, moving on, guys. I'm having a great time. I think the Houston Texans have like two picks at the very end or right at the very end, and those are just really just see what you can get. Wonder what grade they're gonna give me. Yeah, back to back picks, and I think we're done. Um, Tanner Kozol, tight end out of Houston. Fuck it. Welcome. Oh, they have a draft profile. 6'7". Tanner Kozol is a rare blend of pure athletic playmaking and size at the tight end position, using his imposing 6'7" frame to create mismatches that defenses struggle to contain. The former two-star recruit began his career at Ball State, where he broke out as a junior with 94 catches for 839 yards and 8 touchdowns, numbers that earned him first-team Group 5 All-American honors from Hero Sports and third-team All-American recognition from College Football Network. His performance attracted Houston's attention as a highly impactful transfer addition. Kozol finished in the top three amongst tight end nationally in receiving yards with 651. His career numbers are staggering. 23 touchdowns across his collegiate career, demonstrating his elite red zone efficiency. Kozol's 6'7" frame creates immediate red zone mismatches and provides a massive catching radius that quarterbacks love to target. He wins 61% of his contested targets, making him a potential red zone machine in the NFL. His ball skills and body control for a player his size are impressive, and he secured 94 receptions in 2024 despite heavy target volume, demonstrating reliability in clutch situations. However, Kozol doesn't offer much upside as an inline tight end. His poor natural leverage, wide base at the point of attack, and inability to anchor limit his blocking value. He lacks explosive movement in routes. More nuanced defenders can stick with him in man coverage. ESPN Mel Copper ranks him fifth amongst tight ends. His Senior Bowl acceptance provides a showcase opportunity. 6'7". I mean, we're late here. Let's go ahead and do it. And then we're back on the clock here. We'll add another cornerback just for the hell of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this was fun. This was long. Let's see what I got a B. I got a B. Cap health, 18 out of 25. I think that's a passing grade. Needs filled, 18 out of 30. Okay. Future outlook, 20 out of 10. Ooh. Roster moves, 25 out of 25. You improved the cap by cutting 8 players, restructuring 2 contracts, extending 4 players. The biggest move was releasing Joe Mixon, 8.5 million saved in free agency. You made 7 signings, headlined by K. Mays. 3 forced in the draft. You selected Lee Hunter with your first pick. Your 2026 cap is tight at 14.4 million. Your restructures added $167.2 million in future dead money risk. Now that dead money comes when you release the players, but it says view your updated depth chart. Does it add? Oh, okay. So here will be the updated depth chart, ladies and gentlemen. CJ Stroud, quarterback, running back. Brees Hall, Wide receiver Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Xavier Hutchinson. Tight end Donson Schultz, Kate Stover, Eli Stowers. Left tackle is Ariante Ursery. Left guard is going to be. Oh, wait, hold on. Emmanuel Pregnon. Center is going to be Cade Mays. Right guard Ed Ingram. And right tackle Titus Howard. This is my new Houston Texan offense. CJ Stroud at quarterback, Bryce Hall at running back, Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Xavier Hutchinson, wide receivers 1, 2, and 3, tight end Dawson Schultz, Ariante Ursery left tackle, Emmanuel Pregnon left guard, Cade Mays center, Ed Ingram right guard, Titus Howard right tackle. There's going to be no movements on the defensive line. You know, maybe Lee Hunter starts year one. I could see him spending a lot of time rotating with Tommy Tagai. Other than that, this defense is going to stay exactly the same. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm going to put the link in the description. I don't know why I'm talking. It's just a cotton mouth, man. I'm gonna put the link in the description below so you guys can use this. This was a long video, but a fun video. I love you guys. Have a very, very blessed day. Episode brought to you and powered by Sleeper. Get a 100 deposit match up to $100. Use code 713HOU.